Okay, so why am I making a YouTube channel in 2019 about a game that is 3 years old? Well, because it's still fun. That's the honest answer. And look, it's not just Dark Souls 3, likely. Yeah, no, for now it's pretty much just Dark Souls 3. I don't really have too many plans. My goal for this channel is to, I guess, interact with more people in the community. Just get talking to people. That's how I get other ideas in. Because right now YouTube does a terrible job of serving me any sort of videos that I want to see. It basically like finds out that I like one channel, like Saint Riot or like I Am Amish, and then recommends every single video. And then once I've watched every single one of their videos, I never see another Dark Souls PvP one. So with that being, a bit of a problem, I thought to myself, why not just start making my own content? Why not have the fun that they seem to be having themselves? And ultimately, that's kind of what I want this channel to be. I've never really had the desire to be a YouTuber. I would never really want to give myself that label either. But here I am. I wanted to make content for Dark Souls 3 PvP because I think there's something insanely special about it. So anyways, let me make something, relatively clear. I'm not a very good player. I would consider myself, just above average because I play a lot, and this is pretty much the only multiplayer game I actually spend any time with. But yeah, I'm not a parry king. I really only go for parries unless I'm 99% sure I can land it, and I rarely have a parry tool in my hand in the first place. I can't backstab someone to save my life. I struggle greatly against great hammers. Really, I'm not a well-balanced player. I have my niches that I stick to, and then I make a new build and get really involved in that niche. But more importantly, I'm working on it. This channel is more for me to learn and get better, and to interact with people and hear their thoughts on my play and get feedback and fight better people. That's kind of my hope for all this. So I guess I'm creating this channel to get better at Dark Souls 3 PvP. But we don't quite know what's on the horizon yet. Sekiro didn't have multiplayer. Elden Ring might. I'm really hoping it does. We know that's going to be open world, and so I'm curious as to how like an invasion system would work in that. I'm really hoping it does come back, and I think there's a very large community that is also really hoping for its return. But in a worst case scenario, I guess this might be the game we're stuck with for a while. Dark Souls 3 is, the Dark Souls series in general is kind of the only game that has like this invasion system that is so compelling to me, and I really can't find a multiplayer game quite like it. So this is what I'm gonna commit myself to for a while. I hope to make some cool videos. I've made some builds that I'm pretty fond of. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this channel. So I chose this particular clip because it's kind of like this little microcosm of where I'm at in terms of invasions. It kind of shows off exactly what my skill set is for a lot of my characters, and not a whole lot else. My skill set right now kind of includes outspacing stuff with greatswords, which is pretty good tactic, and I've gotten pretty good at it. But it also kind of exposes that I need to work on other things. Like I can roll catch with a not very long greatsword, but it kind of also showcases what else I need to do to really close the gap on these fights. The greatsword versus two ultra greatswords is not a great matchup, and I probably should have thought about that while I was fighting. But in the heat of the moment, you're not necessarily thinking about these things. You're not like, oh, what would be the ideal matchup? You're just trying to survive a lot of the time and think of a new clever way to trap your opponents. Here, here's another example. I really should have switched to my chase down dagger, but I just didn't. I was just like a little too thirsty, a little too greedy to get this fight over with and eliminate the other phantom. But it's like, this is part of what I love about invasions, is any smallest mistake could just be your last. And that's, always living on the edge is kind of what Dark Souls is about. It's about overcoming these great odds, and you're not always going to do that. And of course the Phantom needs to point down, you know. Salty Phantoms aside, you know, this channel is also a little bit about not just me learning, but also teaching other people things. Like the swinging into Hyper Armor with the Sellsword Twin Blades against an Ultra Greatsword is not a good trade. The other thing is that you can't parry two-handed Ultra Greatsword R1s. Check this out. Nope. I do this thing that's kind of foolish, where I realize something about my opponent, like that they don't quite understand some of the mechanics of this game, and then I just don't respect them, which is kind of a huge mistake. Like here, I just get R1 spam to all hell because I'm not respecting it, but you know, you still can't parry Ultra Greatsword two-handed R1s. So you know, it's a little bit about teaching other people things. Like yeah, like don't swing into Hyper Armor. Look at this like stop and then try to parry thing. Good lord. I swung 3 times because I thought I had him in Ultra Stun, but it's, you know, you teach people by like, you know, killing them. That's how this game teaches you things. It kills you and you're like, oh, maybe that won't work next time. But obviously this guy will keep trying to parry an Ultra Greatsword two-handed R1s. My thanks, but also you're welcome for teaching you that. Remember how I said earlier that I don't really go for backstabs and parries and stuff like that? This is kind of evidence to the contrary. That was pretty sweet. I'm very proud of this one clip because this was like, I tried a lot of stuff that I don't usually try, and I had some good results because of it. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to show that off. This is like just stuff I don't usually do, but just, you know, I see this guy go for another parry, just circle around and backstab him. Stuff that I'm like really not used to doing, but I've like seen other people do and just want to try it out. This was a longer invasion that I wanted to show off in a different video. Just wanted to give this little clip of things I do well here. It's stuff like this that kind of like encourages me to try newer and crazier stuff that kind of pushes me out of my comfort zone. The last thing I really wanted to address in this video was people have kind of referred to Dark Souls 3 as a dead game for, oddly enough, 2 years now, and I really don't see it. I am constantly encountering people who are running through the game for the first time. I am constantly encountering like co-op groups of people who just bought this game on Steam because it's constantly going on sale for like $15 or $20 with all the DLC included. So yeah, people keep saying like, oh well, the player base is dwindling. Really not on PC, and that's the platform I'm playing on. And you know, as long as I can get plenty of invasions, I don't really need a whole lot more content to hold me out till Elden Ring or whatever. So yeah, the other day people in general was like complaining on Reddit about how FromSoft has prioritized like the co-op easy mode for this game, and honestly, that's a good thing. More co-opers means more invasions. It means more content for people who like to invade, for people who like to play the player versus player side of this game. It's really not a bad thing. So honestly, I welcome these sorts of changes that FromSoft is making. And yeah, as long as it keeps like, you know, there's players to fight and there's new players playing the game, that's all I really want. For me, that's just like endless content. So that's about all I really wanted to say in this video. I'm gonna put out a couple videos on a couple of the builds I have in the next few days, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching.